Hey y'all, it is Arlie here with My Journey, My Way. Yes, it has been some time since I've been able to come on here and share with you guys. I really miss you guys, and from the bottom of my heart, I mean that when I say it. Never in a million years would I think that I would ever have a YouTube channel, really getting on here and unveiling myself and sharing with you guys my journey and my experiences, and just hoping and praying that it would touch the lives of the people that watched. And to my surprise, it did. And if I'm being honest, it took everything to press that record button on this evening, but nonetheless, I am here, and I ask that you guys continue to pray for me, encourage me, support me. Of course, fall in love with this channel, subscribe, and share it. That would mean the world to me for you guys to continue to support me on this journey. And I'm not going to be before you long. Like I said, it is taking an extreme amount of courage to get on here and just finish what we started, but I did want to share with you all something that God truly just downloaded into my spirit, and something that I've still going through and processing. So with all that being said, if I had to entitle this anything, because we all know that I try to make up these titles, but if I had to entitle this anything, it would be Back to Basics. So in short, 2019, guys, had to be the most trying year. It has been, if I am also honest, my darkest year yet. And I say that because it came with a lot of loss, a lot of grief, and a lot of heartbreak. And going through this year and really going through these storms, I have been, and not exaggerating, in the fight of my life. Every day that I get up, I truly try to find reasons to smile, to have joy, to forgive myself, to locate peace, to laugh a little bit more, and really just put my best foot forward to have the best day that I could possibly have, in spite of what I'm feeling, in spite of the emotions, in spite of the storms. I really try to put my best foot forward. So part of that became a routine where I would go through my phone to really find joy in memories, to really go back and locate things and, kind of like relive these experiences that truly just brought me joy when life was simple. I was going through pictures of me in college, and me, y'all, when I was at my smallest, I was really like, God, life was good. And of course it was college, and of course some of us had some really great college experiences, I included, but just relating it to my weight loss for a moment, I came back from college my freshman year 50 pounds smaller. And I remember living on campus and falling in love with the gym, and I actually fell in love with healthy eating. I wasn't home, so I didn't have all my mom's home cooked meals. I was on campus in a cafeteria, but what stuck out to me was I had made things so simple. They weren't complex. I went to go see a nutritionist. I started Weight Watchers at that time, and my meals were simple. They were clean, they were cut. My workouts were intense. But I loved it because my roommates did it, and they invited me, and I really developed this love and passion, not just for becoming skinny, but really creating a healthier version of me. And I did it without, again, almost 10 years ago, we only had like Weight Watchers. We didn't have all these different programs, so it was simple. I didn't have to overcomplicate things. And in that moment, I was just like, that's kind of insane how the most simple things, and it wasn't complex, and I didn't overthink it, but the most simple way of living, of course readjusting and redefining, but the most simple, basic way of living had produced the most extraordinary results. And that was just pertaining to my weight loss. I had came back 50 pounds smaller, and I was happy. Like, I wasn't so skinny, but I was skinnier than I was, 50 pounds skinnier at that. And I was healthy and I was happy mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I was in a good place. And then I was just like, okay, so here it is. Here's that motivation. Here is that joy that I'm trying to find. And I applied that to 28-year-old me. And again, guys, I know that 18-year-old me and 28-year-old me is not the same. But how amazing is it that for 3 weeks straight, at the age of 28, oh yeah, I'm rhyming, but at the age of 28, going back to basics, I was so happy that it was like 3.5 weeks, almost a month, that I had lost 10 pounds just by going back to basics, just by really making my meals simple, my workouts extraordinary, and putting in the best or most maximum effort to achieve a goal. Life is already complicated enough, and I'm just like, I had put so much pressure on myself, and I was, overthinking and overdoing things and kind of just relating my weight loss journey to other people. But when I went back to basics, when I went back to why I first started this journey, and it was just to get a healthier, happier me, it produced the most amazing results in a month, in the past month. And that is just to encourage you, even on that level. How easy is it for us to get in our own minds and to overcomplicate things that are designed to be so simple? It's so easy for us to, compare our journeys to other people and get in our own heads and make things so complex. I'm like, but I really had to go back to basics. I had to go back into those places, or to that place where I first fell in love with why I did this, and that's to create the best possible version of me. And then, of course, again, scrolling through my memories and finding joy in experiences, I went back to the first time I even started this channel. And y'all remember when I first started these videos and I was in my car after a workout and I pressed the record button and all I did was talk? Y'all got this raw footage of me, stinky old me, outside of the gym. And all I did was share my experiences at that moment. And I hoped and I prayed that in that moment, in my gym clothes, looking a hot mess, looking how I look now, that my life and my experiences and my weight loss or my workout for the day just touched one person. I was so passionate about it. And that's when it came back to me. Like, sometimes we really just have to go back to basics. We have to go back to the places where we first fell in love with our journey, where we first fell in love with our business, where we first fell in love with our weight loss, when we first fell in love with the things that we started. And we have to reignite that fire, because along the way we become tainted. Along the way we seek validation in things that no longer validate us. Along the way life happens, like it did with me. And for me, it was my pain this year. It didn't, of course it was stunted for a minute, but my pain this year redefined my passion for who I am, for what I want to be doing. My pain redefined my purpose in life. And this year has been tough. Getting out of these dark places have been tough. My faith in God and really trusting in Him has been tough. And the pain that I was experiencing, smiling became tough, and joy became tough, and finding my peace became a mission. And on a deeper note, guys, this year my faith had wavered. Not even wavered, it had dissolved, if I'm being honest. And if we're talking about going back to basics, I was in a place where I was so angry with God. I didn't want to talk to Him. I didn't want to pray. I didn't stop going to church, but being there, I was angry, because I'm just like, God, how could you let me down the way you did? How could you allow me to suffer the way I did? How could you allow this heartbreak to happen over and over and over again? And again, if I'm being honest, within this past month, because it hasn't been for a while, but within this past month, I had to go back to basics. I had to go back to when I first met Him, because I could not for the life of me understand how I could have gone through these 6-7 years being saved, being devoted, sacrificing and fasting and doing all these great things for such a great God, and he disappointed me, and I was angry. I had to go back to basics in my faith, in my walk. I had to go back to basics in my prayer life, where it didn't sound pretty anymore, but you just swore and you screamed and you yelled and you did whatever you needed to do to say, God, I need you. I need you like I first needed you back then, because this doesn't make any sense. I had to go back to when I first fell in love with Christ. And let me tell you, when I did that, and I was thirsty and I was desperate, because I was thirsty and I was desperate for peace, and I was thirsty and I was desperate for my happiness, and I was thirsty and I was desperate for joy. So I had to go back to basics. I had to go back to where I first fell in love with my Father. And let me tell you, in this past month, he has taken my worship, my praise, my prayer to another level. All because I went back to the first place where I first fell in love with him. Despite the pain, and guys, no, this is not some Cinderella happy ending. I still have my days. I still have my days where things don't make sense, and I still have days where my emotions can get the best of me. But I promise myself, as long as I am putting my best foot forward, that nothing can take away the progress that I have made today. Nothing can hinder my weight loss. Nothing can take away my passions. Nothing can come in between my fight and my thirst for my relationship to get back to a good place with God. I am in this fight, and it's all because I'm going back to basics. I'm allowing my pain to redefine my passions, and I'm diving into it head first. I don't have time for complicated, y'all. I thought about it. I really did before even pressing this record button. I'm like, no, we're gonna go upstairs. Y'all, if y'all look real closely, I have track marks from crying today at church, and I was gonna go upstairs and redefine some makeup and try to put my hair back up, but I'm like, no, I have to go back to basics. I have to go back to that rare footage y'all got in my car, where it was real and it was sincere, but the fire in me and my passion and my love for just exposing myself just to really encourage you guys, I had to go back to basics, because in those basic and simple moments, I was just so on fire for this. I was so on fire for this ministry. I was so on fire for my goals. I was so on fire to really just get on here and encourage you as I continue to encourage myself. But we have to also get back to this place where our pain is redefining our purposes. It's really launching us into new levels and new goals and new journeys, but it's also allowing us to finish what God had put in us long time ago. So I encourage you, whoever you are, wherever you are, take it from me. Life happens and it gets complicated, but if I know anything at all, sometimes going back to basics, and going back to basics simply means going back to those places where we first fell in love with whatever God put in our hands. How important it is to allow our pain, or let our pain influence and motivate us and redefine our passions in life. So I just encourage you, as I encourage myself, to finish what you started, to get back in the race, not like you did it before, but find a new fire, to go back and tweak the ideas, to go back and tweak the business, to go back and redefine every blueprint that you put, and let it produce something amazing, like it did with my weight loss, like it's going to do with this channel. Allow the pain and the hurt and the storms of life to redefine our passions in life. Allow it to push us forward to accomplish everything that God has already set before us. So I thank you. I love you. Please give me your feedback on these videos. Again, please continue to pray for me in this season that I am. I truly, truly need it. And I thank you guys, and I love you, and I'll see you soon. Good night.